Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's Mrs. O'Keefe. When you are logging in today, you're going to see this announcement. I'm not going to be in class today, so please, hopefully you will watch this video and complete the work in the classwork and homework section. Because I'm not here today, there is no office hours, so please have a very good weekend. So let's go ahead and start with saying our Pledge of Allegiance. So if everybody could please go ahead and stand up, right hand over your heart, nice and quiet. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, guys. You can go ahead and be seated. So before we even get into what's happening today, I want to go ahead and answer the question of the day from yesterday. So the question of the day was, it is raining at midnight. The forecast for tomorrow and the next day is clear. Will there be sunny weather in 48 hours? Yes or no, and why? So I saw a lot of answers. I do believe that there were a couple of correct answers. But the answer to this question is no. And why will it not be sunny in 48 hours? Because 48 hours later will be exactly midnight. So there will be no sun out at midnight. If you're looking at the question, 48 hours from 12 o'clock midnight would bring you back to 48 hours later, midnight. So it doesn't matter if it was sunny and clear that day, it'll still be midnight and it'll be dark and no sun. All right, so today, ladies and gentlemen, this is what I would like for you to work on. Number one, after you're done watching this video and getting yourselves all situated, I would like for you to go to Extra Math and spend 15 minutes like we have been doing daily. Please remember to go in through Clever and log in through Google. If anybody finishes, I will know that because I will get an announcement saying that you have finished. I may not be able to go ahead and change your program, but if I see it, I will go ahead and change it. And please, like I said, set yourself a timer, look at the clock, and really work on those 15 minutes, whatever you're at. If you're still on the mixed facts of multiplication, division, adding, and subtracting, let's really try to push ahead and get that finished. If you're already on the division facts and you're on division facts in less than 6 seconds, push yourself to the 3 seconds. So please go ahead and make sure that you guys are doing that. You're going to see that the better and more comfortable you are knowing your facts, it's going to be a lot easier when you're going to be doing long division, and specifically even more so when we get back from winter break and start doing fractions. Next, you're going to be working in your workbook on page 179 and 180, which is the student addition practice. And you can find that on Savas. And the Google Slides, it does say numbers 1 through 64, but I'm going to explain to you what that exactly means in a little bit. And then any additional time that you have, please make sure that you're working on ST Math. Remember that I will be updating ST Math over this weekend, so I'm looking to see some really big puzzle completion scores. So keep that in mind. All right, so here is the student addition practice. So if you recall, we watched this video, or you watched the video. Some of you watched it an additional time. But here is the question: estimating quotients using patterns and place value. The only difference is, remember I said that we're going to be using bigger dividends. So one thing we can do is we can use multiplication patterns, using our inverse operations to find division. We can use multiplication. Also, we can use place value patterns and compatible numbers. So remember, those are the skills that we have been working on quite a bit. Moving on page 179, here we have, just like we've been doing, we have another example and we have some guided practice. Please remember when you are working on these questions, if you get stuck on question 2, circle it. But remember, please go back to it. When we get together again on Monday, this is where we're going to be starting. So when we're going through it, I don't want to have a lot of the same thing that was happening, when we went over the other questions. Oh, I circled it, I was getting stuck. You can still get stuck. We can still go over it, but please make sure that you at least go back to the problem and see if there's anything that you can pull out to be able to use to solve, just like we do with the solve and shares. So you're going to be doing numbers 1 through 20 on page 179. And that again is just estimating the quotient. So, remember what we were doing, taking these digits and taking and circling the divisor and saying, think of the multiplication facts of 2, and then deciding, are we going to use 6? Are we going to use 61? And we want to try to get as close to that number. So what I'd like you to do is rewrite the number sentence. So I'll give you a hint for question number 9. We're not going to try to get too close to 61. We're only going to do 6. So if we go through our 2 times tables, 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 3 is 6. So we would keep that 6 a 6. That 1 would be a 0. And then it would be 60 divided by 2. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. 1 0. So the answer would be 30 for number 9. So that's what you should have written there. After you finish page 179, you're going to do the problem solving questions on page 180. So again, if you get stuck on something, circle the question, but go back to it. And again, if you get stuck and can't solve it, go through just like I do daily with you guys on the solve and share questions. Cross out things you don't need, circle things you might need, and put that information down here. So you're going to do all of the questions. All the way to question number 28, and then you're done. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we're going to start with on Monday when I come back. Moving on, we are going to go to, and this is right here, this is the Google slide. I already opened it up. And I told you you're going to be working on slides 1 through 64. Now, let me explain what that means. If you present this, you're going to see that this is very simply a PowerPoint presentation, basically, a Google slide presentation. And I just want you to read through the information because this is kind of it. I mean, we're moving on when I, come back and we're going to start doing some actual long division questions. So this is your chance to really take a look at the examples that are here. And if you're stuck on anything, when I come back, whatever questions you have, we can go through. So as you're going through, you can see that was slide 1. This is slide 2. This is just telling you that this is lesson 5.1. What we want to do today, we will use mental math and place value strategies. And we're going through. And I want you to just read through the slides. Here's some vocabulary reminding you what a dividend, divisor, quotient, okay, and some different examples. So these are all things that we have done already, okay? But I want you to go through those slides like I had said, and I want you to go through to 64. Now, when you go through each of the slides, you're going to see, some of them are going to, ask a question. And when you go on, it'll give you the answer. So before you go from slide to slide, try to do it and see if you can figure out what the answers are. And then obviously it's going to take you in through 5.1, 5.2, 5.3. 5.3 is where we ended. So when you go to slide 64, that's our closing discussion question. And then the next one will be 5.4, which is where we'll be starting next week. So you don't have to you're going to see that there's tons of slides on here. So if I get emails saying, do we need to do all of the slides? There's, my goodness, I don't even know. Let me say, over 200 slides. So if I get an email saying, do we have to do all 200 slides? I'm going to say, did you watch the video? Because I only want you to do what we were discussing. And the whole idea behind that is when we come back, I want to be able to say, we're good with mental math. We're good with compatible numbers and estimating. And now we can go on to actually solving long division problems. When you're done with that, again, any additional time that you have, you are going to go and work on ST Math. Now, my homeroom, obviously, you are not going to be logging in live with me. Those of you that are in school, there is going to be somebody there with you. And those of you that are in Mrs. Grimm's homeroom, you are going to go to Mrs. Grimm's homeroom in the morning like you always do. And again, you don't have to sign in and be live with me, but you do need to do the work. And in order to be counted present for the day, you need to complete the work for me as well. So that's it. If you have any questions, we've talked about this yesterday, to please make sure that you email me and, I can get back to you with any questions. But I think it's pretty self-explanatory. We've done extra math. We've been working on student addition practice. The Google Slides are there as a reference, and we've done ST Math. So that's about it. I hope you guys have a good day, and I will see you guys next week.